Tonight from Haiti, a race against time to save lives, 2 days after the deadly quake struck. Under the beating sun, Haitians search the rubble by hand for lost loved ones. Fears of disease grow as bodies pile up on the streets. Violence breaks out as hundreds of thousands are desperate for food and water. And the first U.S. aid starts pouring in. But there's a bottleneck at the airport. CBS News has a team of correspondents deployed throughout the earthquake zone to bring you special expanded coverage of the disaster in Haiti.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric, reporting tonight from Haiti.
Good evening, everyone. Night is falling here in Port-au-Prince for the third time since the earthquake devastated this country, and the desperation and danger grow by the hour. Bodies piling up everywhere could lead to an outbreak of disease. Gangs of looters roam the streets, and thousands upon thousands of Haitians have no homes, no food, no water. The Haitian Red Cross estimates as many as 50,000 have died. It's run out of body bags. The State Department confirms one American death, and President Obama today announced $100 million in U.S. assistance as he addressed the people of Haiti directly.
We say clearly and with conviction, you will not be forsaken, you will not be forgotten.
The immediate problem is getting aid into this country. There's such a bottleneck at the airport, the FAA has had to stop any more U.S. planes from entering the country. Port-au-Prince Airport resembled a United Nations meeting on a crowded tarmac. Rescue teams from Belgium, Colombian police, a Venezuelan Air Force C-130 unloading medical supplies, another C-130 from Brazil, the U.S. military arriving in full force. An outpouring of supplies from everywhere.
We stand in solidarity with our neighbors to the south, knowing that, but for the grace of God, there we go.
Now the help must get to the 3 million Haitians who need it. Nearly every street is an obstacle course of debris and the dead. Roads have become morgues. There's no electricity or running water. Makeshift hospitals are overwhelmed.
Now we have about 10 or 12 doctors only.
And how many patients?
The destruction is so widespread, relief agencies must prioritize who gets assistance first. The Coast Guard is helping with that. We flew on a plane usually used for maritime search and rescue, but today its mission is far different.
We have the ability in this aircraft to send live pictures back to our command centers, and so they can get a real-time picture as to what's occurring on the ground, and then we can direct resources to where it's most needed.
The images, along with their GPS coordinates, will direct relief on the ground.
Gosh, what a mess, huh?
Terrible, terrible. But coordinating this massive effort is still a monumental challenge.
My heart really goes out to these folks. I can't even imagine what it'd be like to lose your family and have this much suffering around you.
Meanwhile, Fairfax, Virginia's Urban Search and Rescue is here, along with teams from LA and Miami. Even the Chinese are lending a hand. The Fairfax team's first job, the UN headquarters here, where as many as 100 people are trapped and feared dead. After a slow, painstaking search, a miracle. For 40 hours, Tarmo Javir, a UN security specialist from Estonia, was trapped in what was once his office. He emerged, exhausted but triumphant.
Mr. Javir, are you glad to be out?
What do you think? Of course I am.
And that Citibank building collapse we told you about yesterday, and the injured assistant heading to a hospital in the Dominican Republic, crushed concrete is now mixed with scattered paperwork. An eerie reminder that Tuesday before 4:53 p.m., it was just another day at the office.
All quiet on top.
While untrained Port-au-Prince residents were able to rescue 2 people overnight underneath the building, for the 3 employees still buried there, a second team from Fairfax came here. hoping for another happy ending.
It's an incredible amount of devastation and an incredible amount of people that probably lose their lives here. And honestly, the hardest part is to know how many people that aren't going to be able to be saved.
Relief workers say the first 72 hours after a disaster are critical to saving lives. That window is quickly closing as Haiti moves from shock to desperation. Many worry that desperation will turn into anger, and anger will turn into violence. The UN has 3,000 peacekeeping troops to patrol the capital, but some of them are among the missing. The more than 3,500 American soldiers and 2,000 Marines on their way here will help secure the city. But for now, Kelly Kobiea tells us gangs armed with machetes rule the streets.
After a second day with no food and no sign of help, desperation is turning to violence in the city's old commercial center. Crowds are emptying the stores, grabbing anything they can carry. Mattresses to avoid another night sleeping on concrete. With the smell of death and the stink of smoke, downtown Port-au-Prince now feels like a war zone. Gangs with machetes rule the streets here. Bodies are strewn everywhere. Families still in shock asked us over and over, where is the help?
What you see, that's why we have left. We're going to start from the scratch right now. But I don't know if the government prepare to do this damage here. You need a lot of help. You need a lot of help.
This man lost his wife. This woman just found her 3-year-old son. He's trapped in the debris of their home. And no one's come? No one's come to help? Nobody's come. This woman found her loved one dead in a pile of concrete. Her neighbors helped bring out the body. They have no choice now but to help themselves as best they can.
They need water, they need this, they need that. Nobody's not helping, so they're trying to fend for themselves.
Thousands of bodies line the streets. Volunteers are digging graves on a hillside, trying to give the dead some dignity and the living a better chance at fighting off disease. And there is no help coming from the presidential palace. The grandest symbol of downtown Port-au-Prince collapsed in the earthquake, along with government services. The violence we saw today was localized to the downtown area, but the longer people go without, the fear is that kind of behavior will spread.
And Kelly, when you witnessed all this, did you see any evidence of police or any other law enforcement types?
We didn't see any police officers in that particular area. In fact, in all of our driving around today, we only saw 2 police cars, and they were trying to get through traffic like we were. They weren't exactly out of their cars and helping.
All right. Kelly Kobiea, thank you very much for that report. No police and next to nothing in the way of medical care. And listen to this shocking news. In the best of times, Haiti has fewer than 3 doctors for every 10,000 people. And now, with hospitals unable to help all the injured, Byron Pitts tells us many are forced to find care wherever they can.
This is what's left of the largest public hospital in Port-au-Prince. What used to be their front yard is now a makeshift morgue. The old courtyard at General Hospital is now the trauma unit. We stopped counting patients at 300.
Dislocated shoulder with a broken arm.
More than 300 stories of pain and suffering, and 1 trauma doctor.
How are you supposed to take care of hundreds of people by yourself?
Well, that's what we're trying to do right now. I'm here, there, and everywhere.
Dr. Tyrone Gill is from Jamaica. He flew in late Tuesday.
How long have you been a doctor?
7 years now.
How does this compare to anything else you've seen here?
This is like a war zone.
With no sleep and few supplies, Dr. Gill has been forced to make difficult choices.
By the time they bring someone here, you have to amputate.
Yeah.
Because of gangrene.
Because access is very difficult as well. There's no... To get here is a problem.
Slowly, trained medical personnel from around the globe are trickling into the country and doing what they can. This Boston-based charity set up a triage center a couple of hours outside of Port-au-Prince. Those who can make it here get bandages, x-rays, and pain medication. The U.S. government sent 300 medical personnel to Haiti today and has placed 12,000 more on alert for possible deployment. Doctors Without Borders has 800 personnel on the ground and is trying to get 80 more into the country. Many Haitians are trying to make it to their own border. Their neighbors in the Dominican Republic have offered free medical assistance. And for those who can't make it to the medical help, all they can do is sit and wait and hope.
Port-au-Prince has long been a series of shanty towns. Today, with too few hospitals and too many roads like this virtually impossible to pass, many of the sick, the injured, the hungry are virtually trapped in communities like this. But they don't complain. They improvise.
At Union Baptist Church, a local healer tried to mend a broken arm with ointment. Meanwhile, the sick, the injured, sing. God will help us, the old hymn goes. Many here believe it's the only help they've gotten so far.
Tonight we've learned Doctors Without Borders will have an inflatable hospital here in 24 hours. And Katie, that means they'll be able to perform all kinds of surgery, something desperately needed here.
It sure is. You walk around the streets and you see so many people who are clearly in need of medical care. What disease are they most concerned about, Byron?
Katie, one word, dysentery. As you've seen, there's so much standing water around here and so little drinking water. People do what they have to do to survive. Unfortunately, it's going to make them sick.
All right, Byron Pitts, thank you so much, Byron. President Obama, meanwhile, says the U.S. relief effort will be one of the largest in recent history. And as David Martin reports, the military is leading the way.
By Monday, there should be close to 10,000 American military personnel in Haiti or on ships just offshore. But in Haiti, Monday must seem like forever.
We're working at all deliberate speed to get all possible capability there as soon as we absolutely can.
Fastest way in is by air, but General Douglas Fraser, the military commander of the operation, is handcuffed by that single runway at Port-au-Prince Airport, which is constantly on the verge of gridlock. The Air Force had scheduled about 24 flights for today, but some of them are still holding on the ground in the U.S.
There have been airplanes on the ramp, there have been airplanes circling overhead, and there have been airplanes that have been held back.
125 paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne flew in today, and an entire 3,500-man brigade is scheduled to be on the ground this weekend to provide security. But tomorrow morning's arrival of the carrier Vincent, with 19 helicopters on board, may provide the biggest break in the bottleneck.
One of the reasons we sent the USS Carl Vinson there is to provide an offshore staging base where we can use helicopters, we can use other capacity to try and move relief goods from ships to shore.
The Vincent also has 3 operating rooms and the capability to make fresh water. By Sunday or Monday, a 3-ship amphibious task force with helicopters, landing craft, and 2,200 Marines on board will provide another offshore base, critical to a country which lost its main port in the earthquake.
Essentially, that port has been disabled, almost destroyed with respect to the ability to service large cargo ships.
The hospital ship Comfort, with 12 operating rooms and 250 beds, is about to get underway from Baltimore, but it won't reach Haiti for another week. More ships and helicopters will almost certainly be sent, but time and distance are enemies the U.S. military cannot defeat. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
I'll be back later in the broadcast with more from Haiti, and in a moment, Harry Smith in New York will continue our coverage.
On the ground in Haiti, the devastation is everywhere. But the scope of this disaster becomes even more clear when you look down from above, both before and after the earthquake. Sandra Hughes shows us.
These Google Earth images are satellite pictures taken just 17 hours after the quake. What's most shocking, the comparison of Port-au-Prince before and after the earthquake. The worst of the damage can be seen when you compare the pictures of what the cross-shaped National Cathedral looked like before the earthquake and after. The entire roof caved in. This is where the city's archbishop was killed. The 3-story Citibank building was one of the most modern in Port-au-Prince until
the 3-story building collapsed in a matter of 12 seconds.
At University Hospital, they were still trying to help the injured and dispense medicine out in the parking lot, even after the images show half the structure was demolished. Official government buildings got hit hard. The presidential palace was built in 1918, a neoclassical building like the U.S. White House. The central dome and the second floor collapsed into the lower level. Google Earth has the images on its crisis response webpage, where the company is encouraging donations to earthquake relief. An aerial view of how daunting recovery will be. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Los Angeles.
When a big earthquake strikes, it's usually far from Haiti, out in the Pacific and inside what's called the Ring of Fire. That's a 25,000-mile horseshoe of ocean trenches and volcanoes where about 90% of the world's earthquakes hit. But while what happened in Haiti may be rare, Ben Tracy tells us scientists have long been expecting it.
When you look at the devastation in Haiti's capital city, there is no doubt that this was the big one. A quake so strong that just 10 minutes later, the seismic waves registered here in the Caltech lab in Pasadena, California, 3,009 miles away.
It's unusual to have big waves like that coming in. We don't see that every day. We don't even see it every month.
Caltech scientists monitor seismic activity and say Haiti is in a very active area of the world. In fact, the Caribbean islands were created by earthquakes. 8 quakes of 7 magnitude or greater have struck the area in the past 220 years. Haiti is surrounded by 2 major plates that are pushing on a fault line that runs from Jamaica through southern Haiti. On Tuesday, that fault finally broke, causing the 2 plates to slip past each other along an approximately 40-mile stretch of the earth. The ground shook so violently because the rupture was so close to the surface, within just 8 miles. The seismic energy of the 7-magnitude earthquake is the same as 32,000 small atomic bombs. Scientists believe the quake was so large because pressure has been building up in the fault ever since the last major earthquake hit here 240 years ago. Scientists warned the island was primed for another megaquake. In fact, in 2008, 5 scientists issued a paper predicting a 7.2 magnitude quake along this fault. They say the risk of another large quake still exists.
By releasing strain on one part of the fault, you actually increase strain on adjacent parts of the fault, thereby making them more susceptible to a large earthquake.
The fault under Haiti is the same type as the San Andreas Fault, the 800-mile-long scar slicing through California. Pressure has been building in the southern end near Los Angeles for more than 300 years. Scientists say the so-called big one here is not a matter of if, but when. Now here at the Caltech lab, they have this simulation of a 7.8 magnitude quake hitting downtown Los Angeles. Scientists here believe there's a 99.7% chance that a 6.7 or greater magnitude quake will hit Southern California in the next 30 years. A sobering prediction. Harry.
Ben Tracy, thanks. There is other news tonight. We'll have that in a moment. Our coverage of the disaster in Haiti will continue in just a bit. But first, some other news. Federal prosecutors today charge Washington Wizards star Gilbert Arenas with felony gun possession. Last week, the NBA put him on indefinite suspension for bringing 4 guns into the locker room last month. Arenas could get 5 years in prison if convicted. The White House expects the financial industry to repay all but about $117 billion of their taxpayer bailout. Today, the president asked Congress to impose a tax on America's biggest banks to recover the rest.
If these companies are in good enough shape to afford massive bonuses, they are surely in good enough shape to afford paying back every penny to taxpayers.
The tax needs congressional approval, and Republicans may try to block it, saying the banks would pass the tax on to their customers. U.S. intelligence believes the attempt to blow an American jetliner out of the sky on Christmas Day may have been part of a larger plot against the United States. Today, government officials told CBS News there is what they call an ongoing credible threat from the group behind the Christmas attack, Al-Qaeda in Yemen. They say the threat is not specific, but it will mean more pat-downs at airports and more air marshals on international flights. That unsettling news aside, a group of scientists believes the world has become a slightly safer place because world leaders have pledged to reduce nuclear arsenals and slow climate change. So today, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists moved its so-called doomsday clock back 1 minute to 6 minutes to midnight. The clock symbolizes how close mankind is to self-destruction. Coming up next, more from Katie and our team in Haiti.
Back now from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Aid from all across the world is beginning to arrive here, but logistical problems at the airport have slowed things down to a crawl. President Obama has pledged $100 million in U.S. aid, and he's reached out to former presidents George W. Bush and Bill Clinton to help lead the U.S. relief efforts. Tomorrow, an aircraft carrier, the USS Vincent, is scheduled to arrive, as are the first of thousands of American troops. Some of you will be leaving us now for local programming, but for many others, this special expanded edition of the CBS Evening News continues. Tonight, gridlock at the airport as Haiti tries to make room for desperately needed aid. Victims of the earthquake, young and old, are hungry, thirsty, and in need of medical help. Gangs of looters roam the streets, and the search goes on for the missing.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric, reporting tonight from Haiti.
Good evening, everyone, and for those of you just joining us, we're continuing a special hour-long broadcast tonight from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. The crisis here is worsening, and help cannot come soon enough. The first shipments of supplies have arrived at the airport, along with the first waves of rescue and relief teams. It is so crowded there, the FAA is not allowing any more planes to fly in from the United States. President Obama today pledged $100 million in U.S. aid, saying Haitians will not be forsaken or forgotten. The next big challenge, of course, will be getting the supplies that are already here to the people in need. An estimated 3 million Haitians are injured or homeless or both. Jeff Glore tells us many are flocking to tent cities.
They come here because their homes aren't secure and often the streets aren't safe. Tens of thousands in tent cities that provide shade, shelter, and a sense of togetherness when it's so easy to feel emptiness.
Are you surprised there's been so little help?
Merlene St. Merlene is in one of these makeshift communities, her leg injured. Through a translator, she says she can't walk, but she is still responsible for her 3 girls, ages 9, 4, and 5.
Tell me what you think about when you think about the next couple days or weeks or months. What's going to happen to you and the family?
She told us that right now, she thinks her children will die.
Have you or your children eaten at all since this happened?
They have survived until now on nothing.
A lot of people, I think, don't still fully understand what has happened here. If you want someone who's watching to know what's going on in Haiti, what would you tell them?
Help now, she says. Help now.
When does this end?
When we ask her how this ends, she says, when God arrives. Right now, she's waiting, all of them are, for assistance in any way possible. And Katie, you've seen as well some of these tent cities, conditions less than ideal, unsanitary, and more. It is very, very difficult to watch.
And that raises the question, Jeff, are there any plans to set up sanitary, safe shelters for all these people and all these children?
It's a great question. Right now, the Haitian government says they're working in conjunction with the U.S. government to fulfill all needs, including housing, but right now, no official word on official housing complexes.
Hopefully that'll change. As you and I saw, the need really is there. Jeff Flora, thank you so much. And I'll be back with more from Haiti later in the broadcast. But first, here's Harry Smith in New York.
All right, Katie, there are so many badly injured on the streets of Port-au-Prince. Anyone with medical skills is being called on to help. CNN's Sanjay Gupta, a CBS News contributor and a neurosurgeon, is among those who answered the call.
Can you tell me what happened specifically?
Ça arrivait. Si, maison casée sur lui ou quoi? Oui, maison casée. The house collapsed.
And what
the mother died.
How has she been? What has she been doing?
Depuis quand il est comme ça? Depuis 2 jours. Et
give me that light, please.
Depuis 2 jours. Il était un peu. There is a doctor that came and saw them.
What do they say?
And médecin dit quoi?
Just moving both of her legs. Can you look through there again, see if you have any more gauze? And she has a pretty significant laceration here. And what I need to make sure is she doesn't have a skull fracture underneath. The good news is I don't think she does. But she is moving all 4 extremities. Hey, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. Hi. How old is she?
15 days.
How tight do you want me to wrap? Not very tight, just enough to hold it on there. Come down beneath the ears. And right underneath the ears. Yep. Once over the forehead. Good. So she has no skull fracture. She does have a big laceration. She's going to need antibiotics, but she does not appear to have a head injury. There you go.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta joins us now from Haiti. Dr. Gupta, it looked like you were literally performing triage in the street. This must say a lot about the absence of medical care there right now.
There's no question. There are far more patients than any kind of available facility. I'm at a hospital right now, which is one of the few open hospitals in all of Port-au-Prince, and under the best of circumstances, they can barely keep up, Harry. In this situation, we have so many more patients and so many fewer hospitals that things have just really, it's exponentially worse in terms of the availability of resources. Healthcare personnel, but simple basic needs like gauze, bandages, antibiotics, analgesics, all of that, critical shortage.
We have heard of some places that have literally run out of supplies. And Haiti, as we have said so many times in the last couple of days, is a desperately poor country. It has one of the fewest doctor-to-patient, lowest doctor-to-patient ratios anywhere in the hemisphere.
That's right. And, again, under the best of circumstances, this is a place I visited quite a few times. Under the best of circumstances, it's very tough going down here. But it is so much worse now. Let me give you a quick idea, if I can, Harry. This hospital behind me is sort of this makeshift area. They're actually, this is outside. I don't know if you can tell it. These are tents, really just cloths that people are putting up over trees to try and give themselves a little bit of cover. The sun has just gone down here. But what I can tell you about these patients, to your point, is that they were simply told, look, there is nothing that we can do for you. Some of them simply weren't sick enough, and some of them are so sick that the doctors basically said, we don't have the supplies, the know-how, or the resources to be able to care for you. And that's happening right now.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks, Eric.
And Sanjay will continue to report for CNN. As the story of this tragedy unfolds in Haiti, so many people here in the States are desperate to hear from loved ones there. More than 800,000 people in the United States are of Haitian descent, but with most communications down, countless phone calls, emails, and text messages have gone unanswered. Here's Randall Pinkston.
The emotional aftershock of Haiti's earthquake is being felt at the Uniondale High School in New York, where nearly 200 students and staff have strong ties to Haiti.
I want to be in Haiti right now. That's the place I want to see right now.
So far, 3 staff members and 1 student know they have lost loved ones, and dozens more are worried. Today, the principal brought in social workers and psychologists for a group counseling session.
Who is in Haiti in your family?
I got my mother and my aunts, all my family's in Haiti.
And he has not heard from them. Neither has Junie Abraham, whose mother is also missing.
I'm trying to focus, and I know only God can do something.
To stay busy, she's volunteered to raise funds, today appealing to her classmates in her native Creole.
Manger. Avec de l'eau pour...
The angst is inescapable. In South Florida, home to the nation's largest Haitian community, heartbroken residents cut off from any communication in the earthquake zone pray for their loved ones.
But you see my eyes? It's swell from crying. I have not ate, I have not slept.
The tragedy in Haiti has also hit home with Noel and Derek Vanderveer in Northern California. They adopted 2-year-old Christopher in Haiti and were planning to bring him home from the orphanage this fall.
It's been tough. We just don't know if he's okay.
A blogger says the orphanage is okay, but the Vanderveers say they cannot relax until they see their son.
They said on television that they needed wheelchairs and stuff like that.
In the midst of their grief, Haitian Americans are learning they are not alone. In every corner of America, people want to help. At a firehouse in Miami's Little Haiti, local residents dropped off items for the earthquake zone as 160 rescuers prepare to go there to lend a helping hand.
The fact that we're going there gives them a sense of hope, and the only thing that we can do is just ask them just to pray for their loved ones and hope the best.
Hope. As the grim realities of the earthquake are revealed, hope is all many Haitian Americans have left. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, New York.
We want to talk for a moment now about the Obama administration's response to the quake. Lara Logan is in Washington. She is our chief foreign affairs correspondent. Lara, good evening. How would you characterize the response so far?
Harry, it's pretty much what you'd expect the response to be to a domestic crisis of this kind of nature. The administration has come out very forcefully on this. In fact, the State Department has set up a 24-hour operations center to coordinate all the interagency efforts. And at the same time, the president came out again this morning, his second specific public appearance on the Haiti crisis. He was flanked by senior members of his cabinet, and he used very strong language. He said he has directed the response to be aggressive, swift, and coordinated. He also made it very clear that he's not prepared to tolerate or put up with any mistakes in a time of crisis of this nature. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and Secretary of Defense Bill Gates, they both cut short trips to the Pacific to specifically devote their attention to this. So it's been quite striking in how aggressive and forceful the response has been, Harry.
Lara, you have been in so many trouble spots and crisis zones before. I know you have a lot of contacts with non-governmental organizations. What kind of progress are they making getting the help they need to get into Haiti?
Well, one of the very important things in this kind of situation, Harry, is not to flood the disaster zone with a whole lot of things that they don't need. It's difficult enough. And that's why there is no model for emergency response to crises of this kind. In fact, the first thing the U.S. did was to send in assessment teams, because their answer, the help they provide, has to be based on the needs of the people of Haiti. And it's very specific to the situation. The assessment teams got on the ground within a few hours, and in fact, USAID, who's in charge of the relief efforts, have been struggling. They told me just a short time ago they've been struggling to get in touch with their own assessment teams. And it is the assessment teams who provide the information, exactly what is needed, how much is needed. It's so bad right now that the airport has been overwhelmed. The ambassador to Haiti, Raymond Joseph, said today that he's encouraged by the amount of aid that's been sent in and the response from countries. The problem is it's not getting to the people that need it. And part of the problem here is that the airport has been so overwhelmed. So the Haitian ambassador said what he would like to see the U.S. military involved in is getting the aid from the airport to the people of Haiti who need it the most, Harry. So speed is critical.
Difficult situation at best. Lara Logan in Washington tonight, thanks. If you are trying to reach a loved one in Haiti, or if you would like to help the people there, all you need to do is go to our website, cbsnews.com, click on How to Help, and you'll find a list of links with information you need. We'll be back with more coverage right after this. Natural disasters often bring out the best in us, millions of people eager to give their time and money to help the victims. Unfortunately, they also bring out the worst in some people, con artists trying to cash in on the generosity of others. Here's CBS News Chief Investigative Correspondent Armin Katayan.
As pleas for money to assist victims of the quake pour in across the internet, so it appears do fraudsters seeking to exploit Americans' deep desire to help.
In the last 24 hours, I've gotten a bunch of stuff on my Facebook page, emails from friends. Things are definitely circulating online.
Web experts tell CBS News as in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, the crooks were at it within hours of the disaster. Ads on Google for charities actually linking to malicious software sites. Scammers hiding behind bogus websites. Spam email like this one seeking donations to the Red Cross, which would never see a cent.
It is amazing how the criminals in particular are utilizing some of our technologies today for their own profit and gain. And what's particularly amazing is how fast they're doing this.
Today, mobile devices have proven a double-edged sword when it comes to giving, making it easier for groups like the Red Cross to raise $5 million via text message in the last 3 days. Donors simply texted the word Haiti to the number 90999, and a $10 donation was billed to their phone. But technology makes it easier for criminals to cash in as well.
The cost of being a con person is almost nothing now.
In the wake of the disaster, the FBI, which has already received complaints, has warned donors to apply a critical eye and do their due diligence before responding to requests for money. The Bureau cautioned consumers not to respond to unsolicited spam incoming emails, to be skeptical of individuals representing themselves as surviving victims, and not to give out personal or financial information to anyone who solicits contributions.
They just look at opportunities like this, exploit them, because they must, at this time they feel that people are particularly vulnerable.
Another way to protect yourself, experts insist, is to visit websites like the Foundation Center or Charity Navigator to ensure your money is going to the people that need it the most. And there's more information about charities you can trust on our website, cbsnews.com. Harry.
Armin Katayan, thanks. Coming up next, President Obama tells American banks, we want our money back. President Obama today called the latest round of bank bonuses obscene, and he asked Congress to hit America's biggest banks with a new tax. Chief White House correspondent Chip Reed tells us the president wants to make sure the government recovers every penny of the financial industry bailout.
The president adopted the tone of an angry populist today as he proposed a new tax on big banks.
We want our money back, and we're going to get it.
Of the $700 billion originally set aside to bail out the banks, the White House says all but about $117 billion is already expected to be paid back. Now the president wants that money too, and he hopes to get it by slapping a tax on 40 to 50 of the nation's largest banks and insurance companies. The biggest burden would fall on the biggest companies. Officials say the nation's 6 largest banks would pay about half of the $117 billion over the next 12 years. The amount of the tax for each bank would be determined by a complex formula. The riskier a bank's holdings, the more it would pay. That's an effort to discourage the kind of excessive speculation that caused the Wall Street meltdown. Many Republicans oppose the tax, claiming it will slow economic recovery. Congressman Jeb Hensarling, a vocal critic of the president's economic policies, says to think that banks will loan more money if you tax them more is fundamental economic ignorance. The White House notes that the bank bailout law requires the president to find ways to get all of the money back. But there's little doubt the president is also hoping to score political points by attacking Wall Street banks, just as they're announcing a new round of bonuses that the president today called obscene.
If these companies are in good enough shape to afford massive bonuses, they are surely in good enough shape to afford paying back every penny to taxpayers.
The banks are expected to launch a major lobbying effort on Capitol Hill to try to block the tax, but administration officials say they're confident there's so much anger directed at the banks that will overwhelm any opposition. Harry?
Chip Reed at the White House tonight. Thanks. U.S. intelligence officials believe the terrorists behind the attempt to blow up a jetliner on Christmas Day are planning new attacks against America. CBS News learned today there's an ongoing credible threat from Al-Qaeda, the Al-Qaeda group based in Yemen. Wyatt Andrews in Washington has the latest. Wyatt, good evening.
Harry, good evening back. Intelligence sources indeed tell CBS News this new terror threat is credible but not specific. It's based, the concern is based on what they call chatter, communication between known terror networks, most of them in Yemen, and from the group called Al-Qaeda on the Arabian Peninsula, which planned the Christmas Day attack. So in response, the Department of Homeland Security has added even more flight security. Hundreds of new names to the terror watch list. They've increased the number of air marshals, and they've increased the number of random pat-downs. Officials are especially concerned about the threat of concealed bombs. Some analysts think the Christmas Day bomber, Umar Abdul-Muttalib, even though he failed, was on a test run to see if his underwear bomb could be detected. And so again, there is no specific threat that officials know of, but they tell us they cannot presume threats like this have passed. Harry?
Wyatt Andrews in Washington tonight. Thank you. Coming up next, we'll check in again with Katie in Haiti.
Back now from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. More than 48 hours after the earthquake struck, it's now a race against time to rescue survivors. Experts say that the first 72 hours after a disaster are critical to saving lives, and that window is about to close. Haiti's Red Cross estimates the death toll could reach 50,000. Today, the State Department confirmed the first American death. Veteran diplomat Victoria DeLong was killed when her home collapsed. President Obama pledged $100 million in American aid, part of what he calls one of the largest relief efforts in recent history. An aircraft carrier, the USS Vincent, is due here tomorrow, as are the first of thousands of U.S. troops who will help provide much-needed security in this increasingly desperate and volatile city. And that's the CBS Evening News for tonight. I'm Katie Couric in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.